Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And on today's Going In Raw news brief, are there more changes in store for the Elimination Chamber? NXT UK lands a huge signing. We recap the first round of AEW's women's tournament in Japan and preview tonight's Impact. But first, is WWE expanding their crackdown on third-party platforms? Larson, what's in the news?
So, if you recall, about 5 months ago, September-ish, reports surfaced from Wrestling Inc., as well as others, that WWE was cracking down on talents to use third-party platforms such as Twitch and Cameo. Yesterday, Wrestling Inc. reported that the crackdown has now been extended to monetization on social media as well, stating that, quote, WWE is issuing violations to talent for tweets or Instagram posts naming any third-party business, person, brand, or charity. Wrestling Inc. has learned that the violations start with a warning, then a fine, and finally suspension. The company is claiming ownership of talent Twitter and Instagram accounts via a clause in their contract that grants WWE the exclusive use of their likeness. So on Wrestling Observer Radio, the Wrestling Observer himself, Dave Meltzer, offered up some clarification. This is what he had to say, quote, "This is Twitter and Instagram stuff, essentially, where you can't be doing anything that is promoting another brand, even if you're not getting any money and it's not a commercial for them or anything. You cannot do anything like that. That is forbidden now." I guess the deal is that since they've explained they own your likeness, they believe they own your social media accounts too, but they're going to be lenient. This is actually being lenient. They could actually crack down worse because they own them. But this stuff you can no longer do. This is finding offenses, hashtagging, and promoting third-party things, even if you're not being paid for them. Well, Wrestling Observer received a statement from WWE offering further clarification. The statement read, quote, "The new policy, which they say," Wrestling Observer's summation of said statement. "The new policy, which they say is not dissimilar to policies they have had for the past several months, is that talent is banned from monetizing their Twitter and Instagram by working with third parties. The company had already had this policy with Twitch, Cameo, and other social media channels, but not specifically included Twitter and Instagram." It says Twitch here, but I assume he means Twitter.
He means Twitter, social media more than, yeah. Okay.
So this seems to be a more all-encompassing blanket policy where talents, independent contractors, signed to contract with WWE cannot use their social media platforms or any other platform outside WWE to make any sort of money.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Evidently they seem to feel like they're on legal and good legal ground. I understand that. I've always understood that if somebody is trading on, is making money and cutting WWE out of the process off of something that they'd agreed upon, belongs to WWE, which is like, I don't know, their screen presence, their likeness, the WWE name or whatever.
I wonder.
I get that WWE is within their rights to do this.
I wonder, because I understand the likeness thing. If that's in the contract, that's in the contract. Where WWE, they are either while you're under the contract with WWE, they are well within their legal rights to exploit your name. I would assume your WWE name, your likeness, basically however they see fit. But that usually, I think, historically has meant literally name and likeness. Like, the image, what you look like. I don't know if that's if that's ever. Obviously, this is what WWE is trying to do: extend that beyond simply name and likeness to anything that can include name and likeness. And if that's ever been challenged in court, because if the idea is WWE owns or is allowed to exploit as they see fit your likeness however they want, does that include your social media properties in total? I just don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know these things.
The thing is, dude, all this stuff right now, it's new ground that WWE hasn't had to traverse before. And I guess they're just sort of figuring out, okay, we need to crack down on this before, more people come in, and it's going to be a wider spread issue so that when people come in, on the flip side of things, for wrestlers looking to go to the WWE, if they understand, hey, one of my biggest money makers is going to be my ability to rack up endorsements on social media using the WWE as a platform, they're going to understand, well, that's not going to be a thing. So I need to go somewhere where that can be a thing. I mean, it's you know, if some of the numbers that I saw, and I won't quote them because I didn't source them or anything, but if some of the numbers I saw floating around for like Lana and Mandy Rose,
it's a hefty sum of money.
It's a massive sum of money.
If the numbers are true.
If the numbers are true.
Don't know if they are, but if they're true, that is a lot.
And here's the thing. It wouldn't shock me at all if they were true, simply from what we do know about CPMs and advertising rates. Those numbers seem well within reason. And if they are true, given what we know about or what has been published by, for example, Forbes, when they talk about what women wrestlers make in the WWE, I mean, Thea Trinidad decided, hey, I'm making a lot more on Twitch than I was in WWE, so why the hell would I stop doing this? Let them fire me. I'll be making a ton more. And so, you know, the market's going to play out the way it sees fit here. And if Lana is making that much more money doing her thing, it's okay, just fine. Just release me then. Okay, whatever. Like, you know, I'm making a ton more elsewhere. And then if you release me and I wait out the rest of my contract, I'm going to head over to AEW if I want to maintain that platform. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, WWE's doing this, and wrestlers who are looking to sign places, you know, once all this stuff, once the dust clears on this, once the dust settles down on this, they're going to have a decision to make. Do I go to a place that's going to be open to, I mean, one example, Thunder Rosa. I doubt she'd give any consideration to NXT these days, given how many side operations she has. I mean, there's her own promotion. What is it? Mission Pro? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
And she seems to be a very ambitious business person, and she's going to want to go. I mean, she evidently does really want to be signed by AEW. You could just gather that from her social media posts. And whenever her NWA contract runs out, I wouldn't be shocked if she goes to AEW because they seem to offer more freedom there.
Wouldn't either.
But you know, at the same time, there might be you know, if you look long term, would Lana have had the ability to make this kind of money on social media without the platform that WWE gave her? It might be a wise short-term investment to say, hey, let me go to WWE, build my brand there. And if I understand that I'm able to monetize my social media to a much larger degree that I'm getting paid there, then A, that's leverage. And, you know, to get a bigger contract from WWE, or C, or, you know, B, just leave. And, you know, when your contract's up, and then you'll be able to exploit that. So it's just decisions that people are going to have to make.
It is. But, you know, I don't necessarily want to go back into the discussion of WWE wrestlers as independent contractors versus employees. That's been well talked about. We've talked about it a lot. People way smarter than us have talked about it. It's you know, again, I want to get into it. This plays into that as well. You know, and unless someone steps up and challenges WWE for any potential overreach, I don't know if there is, not a lawyer, then there's nothing keeping WWE from continuing step by step to say, hey, all this stuff you've been doing and making a good chunk of money on, yeah, you can't do that anymore. We're not going to offer any other avenue, which they still might. We don't know. We're not going to offer any other avenue for you to get those opportunities through a system we may put in place. They may in the future. We just don't know. But you know, you mentioned Lana, and if those numbers are true of the amount she made, that's a lot of money to say, sorry, can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you would think ideally, and we've talked about this again before, because I don't think anybody's going to step up. I mean, I know Andrew Yang made a lot of noise about it, and he might be, you know, I mean, the polls show that he might be mayor of New York City, and that's going to give him significantly more power to potentially do something if he does see fit. But because I would imagine being mayor of New York City would be step one in a multi-step process for Andrew Yang, given his political ambitions. I think that, I mean, you know, for the foreseeable future, it doesn't seem like anybody's going to step up to WWE about this. And so wrestlers are going to have to make decisions. And it would be ideal for WWE to say, hey, Lana, we know that you've made this much money and we can exploit your likeness and all, you know, get a bigger cut than what you're making now independently by letting us go ahead and make these deals for you. That would be ideal. Whether or not they're going to do that or not, who knows? That's, I mean,
especially with WWE's problem with garnering an audience, a younger audience, and building that audience. you have superstars out there expanding their own brands on various social media platforms, on Twitch, on Cameo, and it seems short-sighted to a degree, especially when WWE is already making record profits, to say, hey, all this stuff you're doing out there to advance your brand and potentially by extension WWE, don't do that anymore.
Yeah, but I can see how it's basically future-proofing. I mean, I know for right now, for those people that are bearing, the unfortunate brunt of this, I get it, but I also get it from a company standpoint. I mean, look, when it comes to stuff like, which we didn't even talk about when it came to employees not getting raises and bonuses and the company's making record profits, that kind of stuff is absolutely unforgivable. This kind of stuff, I feel like it's just future-proofing for future policy.
Well, I think it's future-proofing if they have a plan in place to take what their superstars have been doing on their own and then centralize it under the WWE umbrella and use their marketing leverage to fill that void. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Until that's in place, I don't feel like they're future-proofing anything. I think they're more than anything is saying to wrestlers who have leverage now because they have other revenue streams, guess what? We're taking away this leverage from you.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying they're putting policy into place so that look, I'm not saying they're going to be good at utilizing their marketing arm to get brand deals. Although, I mean, I don't know. It's like if Lana, if somebody comes at Lana and says, hey, we have an idea for a brand deal for you, and she says, okay, well, you got to go through WWE to do that. I mean, would WWE fumble it? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? They seem okay at making a ton of money off of various other means. So I just mean like policies in place. Hey, we need to lock down people making money off their likenesses when we own them, so that when people come into place, they know what the rules are.
Well, then I think then that needs to be spelled out in very direct language and contracts, not under some potentially nebulous idea of we own your likeness.
If somebody signs right now without understanding what's happening with this, then that's on them. Because
it is, but
nonetheless, I think the most public thing possible.
I'm saying if WWE wants to future-proof themselves and avoid any potential legal entanglements or challenges to whatever they're doing, they need to spell it out just to protect themselves, I would think.
Well, evidently they have, and that's why they're able to do this. Let's see here. Moving on, Elimination Chamber. More changes to the Elimination Chamber card. We saw a couple changes happen last night on Raw. Miz withdrew. Kofi Kingston took his spot. And Lacey Evans, now that she is legitimately pregnant, will not be challenging for the Raw Women's title. I think it's been confirmed that it's not Ric Flair's child, though, at least for realsies. There still might be more changes in store for the show. Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer himself, reported on the most recent Wrestling Observer Radio, and these transcripts coming to you from WrestlingNews.co, said this: something's going on with Keith Lee, who also wasn't on the show tonight, and we don't know whether he's going to be. We don't know anything about the pay-per-view other than the two chamber matches. The Lashley match, which is a three-way, we don't know if Keith Lee will be in the match or not. It's up in the air right now, so it might be just Lashley and Matt Riddle in a singles match again. So Meltzer is saying that the idea, I guess, is supposed to be Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, and Lashley. I know Keith Lee and Riddle had a match last week.
Yeah, no, they announced the triple threat match last week.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch Raw last night, so I didn't know what was going on.
They announced the triple threat match was happening, and I don't know if this is speculation because Keith Lee wasn't on the show, or if this is information that Dave got from a source. Because sometimes people will pick up speculation with without the full context of the quote. Who knows? But given that they're building up to a pay-per-view, this is the go-home show. This is a U.S. title match. You would think to build to that story, they would have Keith Lee on the show. Him not being there, it seems like a pretty
very
significant,
conspicuous. Yeah, very conspicuous.
So who knows? Maybe it's just a situation where they're really focusing on the Riddle Lashley aspect of it, like they have for weeks on end.
So sometimes I don't obviously pay attention to things, like I didn't notice Austin Theory getting chloroformed by Dexter Lumis. But yeah, did they even run a match title card last night for the triple threat? Usually in the go home, they're like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And there's like a match title card for Riddle,
I'll be honest,
Lashley,
when they did do the
Lee.
run through of the Elimination Chamber card, I was like, oh, I know these matches are going to happen, so I didn't pay attention.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
Let me check something real quick. I can go on WWE.com and see if they still have everything up as they would for that match.
Let's
That
see
I can
here.
do.
Shows Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, well there you go then. But sometimes when it comes to like there it is. Sometimes their digital department, the right hand they know what the left hand is doing. So
Well, if it's a situation where for some reason Lee might be out for the match and they don't know what they're going to do with it yet, they might just say, "We haven't announced anything, so just keep the stuff up as is until
yeah.
we know what approach we're going to take."
What's more likely? They have some grand secret plan for Keith Lee, or they literally have no idea how to handle Keith Lee right
The
now.
latter, of course. That's more likely.
You're probably right. My favorite wrestling show, Larson, on TV right now, because it's only 1 hour long. It features stars from my home country of the UK. NXT UK, a huge new signing. Give us the good news, Larson.
All right, so this is from Alex McCarthy. He's reporting that WWE has signed Millie McKenzie. It's great news. She's great. It adds that, quote, "We're also told WWE has high hopes for McKenzie. She's set to be plugged in at the top of the card in NXT UK, along with fellow recent arrival Mako Satomura, two women who know each other very well from the independent scene." This is great news. Millie McKenzie, great
news.
wrestler.
This is awesome.
Yeah, a hell of a talent. Great addition to NXT UK.
I was lucky enough to see her live at an Eve Pro Wrestling show when I was there about a year and a half ago. Just a terrific talent. I can't wait to see what they have in store for her. The NXT UK is a lot of fun. I can't wait for fans to get back from that one. I have no idea when that's going to happen.
Yeah, who knows when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Ilya's get that title whenever it happens, so.
Yep. Let's see here. We had yesterday AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament Round 1 in Japan recap, or we're going to recap it for you here. I thought this was a lot of fun. This is the kind of thing that I was really looking forward to when it comes to when it came to AEW being introduced. I know, like, you know, I'm semi-aware of some of these people because AEW has featured some of them before, but, you know, in pretty small doses. So it was good to sort of refamiliarize myself with the likes of, for example, Emi Sakura, Yuka Sakazaki, and then get to know some new people. You know, I had not really seen much of Maki Ito besides what I had Googled. Of course, she was one of the bigger names coming out of this. It was 4 matches. It's available now. They got it both in English and Japanese commentary.
It's about an hour long, and it's a lot of fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun, man. We'll just run down these matches really quick. Yuka Sakazaki defeated Mei Suruga. A couple things that I noticed over there in. I mean, I know the women participating are from a variety of promotions over there, including Gato Move, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, I think it is. And I love that the closed fist seems to be a big no-no there. And of course, they you know, varying promotions. I know WWE sort of phased out, like they don't care about the closed fist much. No. But there was one moment in this when Mei Suruga got, like, it was she swept the leg of Yuka Sakazaki, and she did this and then opened it up and put it behind her back because it was the closed fist, like it was a foreign object or something. Yeah. Trying to cover it from the ref.
I like that Mei Suruga's style is all misdirection.
Yeah.
Something different, something you don't see very often. I appreciated that.
I love all the showboating during the pin attempts too. You know, like they're doing this kind of stuff while they're going for the pin. That was cool. In the end, Yuka Sakazaki hit Magical Girl 450 Splash, also known as the Magical Chicken Bastard, also known as the Magical Chicken Dude, depending on your translation of the actual name she has for it. From the top rope. It's really cool. She did this before no, I didn't actually see her do it in AEW. I don't know, maybe she didn't.
Yeah, I don't think she's done this in AEW, not the 450 variety, I don't think.
Yeah, it looks great, though. It's a 450 splash from, like, the top rope.
Yeah, not the corner, though. From
the actual, it's like a grand. She's got some Grand Metalik stuff going on. It's really fun.
Yeah. Next up was Veni versus Emi Sakura. This is a really good match. Veni was really impressive. I was really impressed.
Had not really seen much of their work, Veni, but it is very impressive. In the end, Emi Sakura picked up the win with a Tiger Driver on Veni. I mean, you know, I saw some sort of whining online a little bit of like, well, it's the people that AEW has worked with in the past that sort of moved on, which, I mean, kind of made sense, but it was a great showcase for people that, you know, had not been a part of AEW before. I mean, dude, all the hype behind Maki Ito. This next match, Ryu Mizunami versus Maki Ito. Character-wise, like, I mean, Maki Ito's great. I had not seen much of Ryo before. Absolutely fantastic. Like, did not know what I was going to get here. I mean, everything from Ryo Mizunami, to me, was like everything fun about like the late 80s, early 90s American pro wrestling. Like, she's got the leg drop. She did the warrior shake on the ropes. You know, she's got the chain that's so heavy, it's hard to get it off her head. All that stuff. She had the Kojima chops. All that stuff was great. Of course, she was trying to counter Maki's strong, very strong headbutts. Which was really great.
That bit where Ryo tried to hit a headbutt on Maki Ito and just collapsed was great.
and Maki just like completely no-sells it.
It
was really, really. I loved the bit where she played possum at the beginning and was asking for a big forearm. She was like, "Come on, hit me here, hit me here." Then Ryo does. She just starts crying. But she's playing possum because Ryo feels bad, and so she stomps her. Maki stomps her foot, and then mocks her for showing her some sympathy. I thought it was really, really great stuff. This was, in terms of character work, this was by far my favorite match on the card. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
In the end, though, Mizunami hits a spear for 2, transitions to a triangle, and after a pretty big fight to get out of it, Maki Ito is forced to tap out.
Yep. And then the last match, Rin Katakura versus Aja Kong. Another fun match.
It's basically as close to a squash match as I think we're going to get, because Aja was like no-selling everything that Rin was throwing at her.
But Rin was kicking out of pretty much everything that Aja was throwing at her, save for the finish, which is an elbow off the second rope. Aja Kong gets the win, advanced the second round. Again, another fun match. Really fun.
Yeah, it was. Aja Kong's going to be taking on Ryu Mizunami in the second round, and then Emi Sakura is going to be taking on Yuka Sakazaki in the second round. So I don't know, man. My favorite here out of all these is Ryu Mizunami. Probably going to end up, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know who's going to move on. Probably going to be Aja Kong moving on from that match. And I mean, I don't know after that. Emi Sakura and Yuka Sakazaki seem to be pretty.
I think probably Yuka would probably move on.
My gut tells me Emi, but I don't know. I think they're both great. So yeah, check that out. Definitely, it's well worth a watch. Also well worth a watch tonight. Impact Wrestling, twitch.tv/Steven Larson is the place to watch it, because you, me, and the Enforcer are going to be there. Very exciting stuff. Juice Robinson and David Finlay, Finjuice, is going to be, no, is it Finjuice? Yeah, it's Finjuice. Going to be in the Impact Zone. But Larson, they're New Japan Pro Wrestlers.
Yeah, the Forbidden Door is no more, man.
Oh, whoa.
Let's kick that whole thing in. TJP will defend the X Division title against Josh Alexander.
And Willie Mack is going to be taking on Daivari and Trey Miguel and Suicide in a fatal 4-way match. That should be a lot of fun. I wonder if Tony Khan is going to go dirt sheet at all and reference the Sammy Guevara situation in his paid advertisement, or if he had already had to turn that in prior to the broadcast.
It's entirely possible.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to another paid advertisement. I'm going to be disappointed if we don't get one at this point.
Oh, we're going to get one for sure.
I hope so.
It's fascinating to see this Forbidden Door that'd been up and seemingly sealed shut for the longest time, now just blown wide open, and it's great to see. Great to see.
Absolutely. Can't wait till the 6:49 hour when we get the Steiner math. That should be a lot of fun too. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you tonight for the Impact stream. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.